Good morning, everyone. How are we today? So we'll just give it a few seconds for everyone else to join. And while we're doing that there, we'll have a cup of coffee. Cheers. Let's just get something else sorted. We'll be back in a second. So good morning, everyone. How are we this morning? I'll just give it another few minutes for everyone else to come in. And then we'll go about and we'll start to make our tomato soup with a toasted cheese sandwich. So welcome to Ireland. It's really, really, really cold this morning. I think it's -2 or -3 degrees centigrade. And it's just a day for soup and sandwiches. So I'm going to make a tomato soup today. Just a normal, run-of-the-mill, the best tomato soup you'll ever have. It's got hidden vegetables in it, which means it's great for the kids. It's dead simple to make. And a day like this is exactly what you need. So I'm going to turn the grills on, or turn the rings on just we'll turn the ring on for the soup, and then we'll let that warm up, and then we'll start to get our soup together. So in my soup, I don't make cream of vegetable soup, I blend it, but I have Worcestershire sauce, I have tomatoes, I have sliced onion, garlic, I have carrots and celery, which I use again to hide some of the vegetables for the children, chicken stock, butter and oil for frying, and a little bit of sugar then to add some sweetness to it. So this is how I do mine. Everybody has their own recipe, but I think this is just about the best that there is. So we're going to start off with, we have our pan and it should be warming up. And we're just going to add in some butter. Please use proper butter, don't be using margarine. It doesn't work the same and it definitely doesn't taste the same. And we'll just set that to the side. Now, once that starts to melt, I'm going to spray a little bit of oil into there. And that will help stop the butter from burning and it will help the vegetables in that to cook. Again, I use low calorie oil because I try to keep it healthy for the children, although the butter is not the healthiest. So where are we this morning? As I said, it's cold in Ireland. So what's it like where you are? Just drop a hint in the chats and let me know. We're just checking the butter. So now the butter's starting to melt, we're going to start to chop some vegetables. Start off with a carrot. Now I don't peel my carrots because the goodness is in the outside of them, but I do wash them, and I wash them well because you don't want any dirt. So we're just going to take them, we're just going to slice them up into small cubes because it's obviously easier for blending and they cook quicker as well. So this soup can be ready in about 20 or 25 minutes all in from start to finish. And as I say, it's the best. There's my dog letting me know that he's outside and wants to come in. But he won't come in because he'll jump around all over the place. So we'll get the carrot in. Then we'll take our stick of celery. Again, we'll just cut it into small cubes. The smaller the cubes, as I say, the quicker they cook. Like I say, this is extremely good for children. It's also got hidden vegetables in it, so they don't know that they're eating the healthier stuff. And I've just sliced a finger of myself. I think I need to go and get a plaster. Yep. First disaster on my live stream. Let's just quick little rinse. Dry it off. Yep, don't worry folks, it happens to the best of us. So I'll just stick another plaster on that there so to make sure that it doesn't. But I'm sure I'm not the first on a live stream to cut myself, and I'll not be the last. It just doesn't look good. And as you can hear, my carrots are starting to sizzle. I can get the celery in. These things are hidden out whenever you're doing them on video. You don't see people cutting themselves or things like that, which makes the live stream slightly more realistic. So, again, we'll take an onion and just chop it. Obviously, it's roughly because it's going to be blended. And into the pan. And 2 cloves of crushed garlic. Just smash them down. Take the skin off it. As I say, you don't even need to chop these, just throw them in. And the skins go into the bin. Now, as you can hear, our vegetables are sizzling away. These will take 4 or 5 minutes just to soften down, and that will help then with the cooking process. Now I'm going to season our vegetables. Season as you go along, because it does help the flavours. It's layers of flavours that you're looking for. So we season as you go along. Just give them 3 or 4 minutes. And while we're doing that there, we'll wait the chopping going down. So as I say, folks, anybody who's watching, you've seen my first disaster, my first cut on my live streams. That's the joy of having a really sharp knife. But a sharp knife is much better than a blunt knife, because a blunt knife will cut you more because you've got to put more pressure into it. So our vegetables are just starting to soften. So now we're going to add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. Just a dash. We'll just add some more flavour to it. Again, keep those moving because you just want them to soften. You don't want them to brown or char. And you don't want the garlic to burn, because there's nothing worse than burnt garlic. So now that they're fairly soft, we're going to add 1 tin of chopped tomatoes. Again, I'm making this is enough for 3 or 4, but if you want to make more, you can obviously get the last of it out. You can obviously up the ratios of what I'm using. I will leave a recipe down below once I finish. Pardon me. And we'll just let those tomatoes cook for a few seconds. Again, like I said, this is a quick and easy recipe. It can be done in 20-25 minutes all in, from start to finish with regards to all the cooking. And next to it then, we're going to add 350 millilitres of chicken stock, good quality chicken stock. Please use the best quality chicken stock that you can. If you can't get and make your own, or you can't get good stuff, obviously a stock cube will do, because like at the end of the day, people have time. This is all about time, and this is about how we can make it quickly. So if you can't make your own stock, or you don't have your own stock, just use a good stock cube. So just keep this moving around. Like I said, we don't want it to burn. Just turn it down a touch and we'll let it just cook off. We're trying to cook the taste off, and now I'm going to add a little bit of tomato puree, about a tablespoonful, just to help with the flavour of the tomatoes. And again, we're just going to cook that off. And just let it just cook off all the flavour of the harshness of the tomato puree. So now that we've got that down, we're going to add, like I said, about 300 or 350 millilitres of good quality chicken stock. Give that a stir. We're going to pop the lid on and we're going to let that cook for 15 to 20 minutes. We'll bring it to the boil first and then we'll let it cook for 15 to 20 minutes until it's cooked through. Is that big enough? Nope. Of course I can't. I ain't the big enough lid. There you go. And we'll just pop that on top. Turn that down a bit because it's starting to go mad simmering. Like I said, you don't want to boil this soup. When we were in Kieran College, there used to be a saying that said, soup boiled is soup spoiled. So try not to boil it for too long. It's just to say, bring it to temperature and then we will take it from there. So we'll turn that over onto that ring. And let that simmer away and we'll pop this one onto here. So while our soup's simmering away, we're going to start getting ready our grilled cheese sandwich. So take crusty loaf. Now if you don't have bread like this, obviously just use a normal white loaf. But I find that this gives you your best type of sandwich. Cut it about half an inch thick, because that gives you the best for your sandwich. We'll just pop the bread there to the side. So as you can see, nice and thick. We're going to take some of our fresh butter again. We're going to spread it on one side of the bread. Now obviously leave your butter out the night before, or if you do leave it out, because you want it to be soft. And again, please don't use margarine, it just doesn't work the same. So we spread it on all over on both sides. This bread's nice and fresh, so it's slightly breaking up. If you have stale bread, it works a little bit better with the toast because it doesn't break up as much. And as I say, we're just going to butter both sides. Like I said, in ordinary videos, you don't see all this here because you can edit it all out. But when it's live, you got it as it goes along, which is why I have the thumb wrapped in plaster, because I sliced the finger off, top of my finger off. But sure, it is what it is. Now we're going to flip this over, and on the other side then, I like to add this relish. It's a chutney. So it's an onion and caramelised red onion, because caramelised red onions go really well with the cheese. So a spoonful on. Again, don't be afraid to put this on. It does help with the flavour. So we'll spread that all over. Set that to the side. And now we're going to go with our cheese. So I like to go with sliced Swiss cheese because it melts and goes really, really gooey. So again, a couple of slices of it, 2, maybe 3, depending on how thick your sandwich is. And then we're going to go with some mozzarella over the top, because the mozzarella, when it melts. Now these are all, I know they're all mozzarella, they're Italian cheeses, but they're all Irish made cheeses. This one was made in Macroom, about 25 miles from where I live. So, as I say, when I say Irish style, although the flavours are different, and then we'll just pop that on top, press it down, get this pan warmed up, just check. Again, we'll just turn that up just a little touch. Now we'll take our pan, because we don't want the butter to burn. We do want it to toast, but we don't want it to burn. So we'll just pop that there. And we'll pop our toast up. Get your press. Get a spatula. And just press it down. You want good contact with the pan because you want it to brown. Just tidy up a little bit. So again, folks, we're 15-20 minutes in, and we have our toasted cheese on. We have our tomato soup on. And as I said, if you're doing this for lunch, quick, handy, fairly healthy, but really good. Really, really, really tasty. Let's start to move some of this stuff out of the way. Again, another bit of coffee. Because like I said, it is 10 a.m. in the morning here. Just check. Like I said, just push it down. I'm actually going to put a little bit more butter on that side because some of it seems to have come off. Again, we'll just give a little stir. Yeah. Put it back on and we'll let that simmer. Now we're obviously going to blend the soup. So I just use a hand blender, but you can use an ordinary large household blender, but the immersion blender I find works better. So folks, how is your day going? Like I said, it's about 10:20 here, 10:17 in Ireland. The soup is going to be for lunch, but the toasted cheese sandwich is going to be for my breakfast. And then I'll have soup for lunch later. And when my partner comes home, then she can have a toasted cheese because I'll have everything ready. So I hope you're enjoying my live streams. I find them strange coming from editing videos. I found it strange just looking at going live, and as I say, accidents happen, like when you cut your finger or you get different things happening. So as I said, I hope you're enjoying it. If you are, let me know. Drop me a comment or even in the chat box, and we can take it from there. Pardon me, let's just check this. And then what I'm going to do is, in a few minutes time, I'm going to take the lid off the soup and I'll pop it on top of the sandwich, and that will keep the sandwich and help the cheese to melt. So like I say, this goes down really well. The kids all love it. So it just keeps. And now our soup is probably done. I'll just give it another. One last thing with the soup. I just slipped that out of my hand. We're going to add a little bit of sugar because the tomatoes are quite tart, and the sugar helps bring out the flavour. So I add about 3/4 of a tablespoon. But again, depending on how much you are and how tart your tomatoes are, give that a stir around and then we'll taste it. You probably need to give it a little bit more seasoning as well. Just check it and then we'll see where we go from there. Yep. Needs a touch more salt and pepper. Pardon me, give that a stir around. And pop the lid on and give it another few minutes just to cook. So we'll just turn that up a little touch because we want it to brown. So folks, as I say, it's hard to do a live stream when you're just talking to a camera. And again, some more coffee. So do you enjoy live streams, folks? Do you watch them? I think I'm going to have to think about changing my times on them because 10 a.m. GMT doesn't seem to suit everybody. But then is there a time that doesn't? I was doing a live stream last night with a YouTuber and he was on at 11 p.m. or 10:30 p.m. and didn't finish till 12:15 a.m. UK time. So one time doesn't suit everyone. Just keep. So once that turns over, I'll put the lid from the soup on top of it, and that will then help the cheese to melt. So good morning, everyone. How are we? I'm hoping that you've just joined us. I'm making tomato soup and a grilled cheese sandwich. So there's my dog going mad, and the neighbours are running about. So there's the grilled cheese is on. I've used Irish Gouda and I have used Irish mozzarella, and I've made my tomato soup along with tinned tomatoes, onions, garlic, celery, and tomatoes, Worcestershire sauce, and some, like I said, some tinned tomatoes. So just going to check the base of this sandwich again to brown. So I'll flip it. As you can see, it's nice and toasted. So I'm just going to take the lid off. Pardon me. Take the lid off the soup. Just pop that on top, and that will help it cook. So now our soup is cooked. I'm just going to blend it. I'll just show you. Just give me a second. As you can see, the soup is nice and thick. Just pop it on there. A little touch. A little touch. And I will take the hand blender. You just have to watch I don't get roasted here, because I've already cut my finger this morning. So take this off the heat into the, and nice and gentle. Now, when I'm blending this here, I like my soup to be fairly smooth, but you can leave yours chunky. The reason I like mine to be smooth is I try to feed it to the children. So if they're eating it, they don't know there's any vegetables in it. And there you go. One tomato soup blended. Scoop that off. Unplug the blender. And just pop it over. You need to be careful because this is extremely hot. And as you can see there, it's blended. It's nice and creamy, nice and thick. You don't need cream or anything for it. You don't need rice or potatoes or anything. You just need to have it blended. Now you can add cream if you wanted. Now, well, when you were cooking it, you could have added a little bit of rice, or you could add some rice now, which would make it a tomato and rice soup. Or, like I say, you could add some cream or some milk, and that would make a cream of tomato. But I just like mine as plain tomato soup. Now, a little trick: if you are doing this and you like Heinz homemade soup, put in 3 or 4 silver skin onions, just the small baby ones, just blend them as well. That will give you the flavour. So now again, I'm going to taste it and just see if it needs any seasoning. Nope, it's about fine. And we'll just check our toasted sandwich. Quite another minute or two and it will be done. Like I say, just pop the lid back on that. And I have tomato soup everywhere. It's the worst about the hand blender. So we just get a plate and a bowl, and we're going to need time to serve. Just keep stirring our soup. I can actually turn that off. So like I say, folks, don't forget to hit the like button. Drop me a comment down below. How long are we going? 20 odd minutes? It's longer than I thought. Sorry if I've kept you a bit longer than I thought this morning. This is taking about half an hour. Just need to check on my toasted sandwich. Just coming along nicely. A little touch more. Cheese is melting inside. It's nice and brown and toasty on the outside, so it's nearly ready to serve. So we have a ladle for the soup. We just fill our bowl. Now for the soup, as a garnish, I have some fresh basil growing, and we'll just put a couple of bits on top. So there's the soup. We're just going to take our toasted sandwich off now. Turn that off. Take our knife. Now be careful with this because this is extremely hot. You can hear the crunch of it. The cheese is all melted inside. I mean, look at that tear. Just pop that there. And there we have, folks. Tomato, toasted cheese sandwich, Irish style. Now, folks, thanks for watching. I hope you've learned something. I know, learn not to cut the top off your finger. And again, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again in my further videos.